I did not earn money. I remember I did like a 13-hour shoot, was meant to be 6 hours, and we just kept rolling. There was no food, there was barely anywhere to like sit down, and we wrapped at 1 a.m. But everyone else was staying at the choreographer's house.
Wait. And you guys are professional dancers and you've
you.
been asked to dance in this music video. There's no food.
No food, barely anywhere to sit. Like the location was gorgeous, like a manor, like a big mansion.
Of course, the location would be gorgeous. Do you actually think you actually do need TikTok as a professional dancer?
Such a good question, you know? I feel like yes and no. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to like work and just be in industry, I'm going to say no. Yeah, I'm going to say no. But if you want to be your own brand, your own personality, yeah, I think so.
For like sponsorships,
brand partnerships,
right.
even like just reaching new audiences and students and stuff like that. It's a thing. Your platform is a thing. Like if I hadn't have built the connections I built before TikTok, I don't know if I would still have a job.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah.
Sister,
We're gonna
set
get
up your
into it,
BTS.
girl. Thank you. Do you know what? I'm gonna do it afterwards. I don't want it to be in the frame. So let me actually,
So welcome to the Rap Room podcast, where we delve into the movers and shakers of the industry and spotlight them and the incredible things that they do. I'm your host, Mac, and today's guest is nothing short of a queen. She is epic in every single way. She's right here next to me and she's making all these faces, but it's true. It's really true. She's someone who's danced with icons and now moves whole crowds with her creative direction. She's the visionary behind the Beyond Limits dance company, a creative director, choreographer, producer, mentor, etc., etc., etc. It's Cresta Rose in the Rap Room.
You know it's your girl. Girl, I'm so in awe of everything you just did.
Oh, stop
That was
it.
seamless.
Do you know how many times I practiced that? You didn't see it.
She
You
said
didn't see
rehearsal.
that. The
6-hour rehearsal.
Listen.
Oh yeah.
You don't play. But you're a future wifey too.
I am.
We need to tap into it real quick.
Oh my God.
She is a wife.
A whole engaged, you know.
Wow.
But I'm bored of fiance now, you know.
You're ready to be wife.
I'm ready for the wifey title. I am. But everyone says like live in the fiance because it doesn't last long.
True.
So because I used to say my man, they were like, say your fiance because you can't say that for long. So now I'm like my fiance.
My fiance.
Yes,
she's a fiance.
You know.
When are you gonna get married?
For
then?
real. Do you know what? I'm hoping for next year.
Okay.
My sister just got married and it was a whole thank you, girl. Yeah, she's like it was a most adorable, amazing wedding. But you know, Nigerians, hey.
It's not just one wedding.
Hey, it was two. One of them was even abroad.
Wow.
It was a loss. So I was like, let me just focus on getting her down the aisle. And I kind of, if I'm honest, forgot about my own.
Right.
So then when she was on, I was like, oh,
you're next.
It's me now.
No, you know the aunties are like, you're next. You're actually next, Cresta.
They were literally like, so when's your own? I said, this is well. It's well.
So in terms of your life and how you would, I don't know, I guess rank the different compartments of your life, what would it be? For example, you know, work, relationship, faith, whatever it may be.
That is a good question. Do you know what? It's evolved so much. So that's such a good question for me right now. Before it was work 1,000%, everything else getting in the bin. It was literally work. If anything gets in the way of work, you got to go.
Really?
Oh, girl.
You're strict.
Oh, I was real. And the thing is, I didn't even realize it, you know, until some of my friends were like, oh, damn, like it was giving cuts. Like,
really?
Oh, yeah. I didn't mean to do it, but you know, like Mario Kart, I'm not me talking about Mario, but you know, like there's that thing you get where have you played Mario Kart?
I have.
And you know what's it called? When the cannon.
And it's switching fast.
And everything that's in your way, you're just, that was literally
pew,
me.
pew.
I'm telling you, that was me. And then I met this man. He definitely softened me. And I feel like your perspective does just broaden. And so, yeah, I feel like as my relationship got deeper and I just started realizing there's more to life than the creative industry, than the dance, than everything. There's more to life than business, than tax, than managing a crew, than all of this.
Speak on it.
You know, and I had the goals. I would say to answer your question now, faith has to come at the top.
Yes, always.
Because without that, we are lost.
Like rats on the highway, just
like
confused.
on the highway. That's when you go wrong.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah, faith has to come first. I think for me, that is what I try and root everything in now. Because, you know, as you know in the industry, things are tough.
Yeah.
So to keep me grounded, that's what I do. And then for me now, I would say family. And family does encompass the love life.
It does.
The mom, the dad, the sister, the everything.
Everyone.
And hopefully the future family as well.
Yeah, man.
You know, manifest. But work is still very important to me. I just say it doesn't run my life anymore.
Wow.
I run the work.
Oh, come on.
Come on, Shakespeare.
This shows growth, Cresta. From what you've just described, it really does show that you've come a long way. And sometimes it does take a really good man to change that perspective.
Right. He said you got to slow down. You guys have these babies. I said, oh.
Like, he's actually not joking as well.
He was being so serious.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, in my eyes, he was like, I said, oh. Okay.
He means it. He really means
With
it.
His whole chest. Yeah.
Even looking at you now, you're just so full of energy and full of life. You might probably be going through a difficult time, but I can't tell. And it gets me thinking about what you would have been like as a child. I picture you as like, you know, one of those young children who were dancers and were like, all right, mum, dad, sit down. I'm putting on a show.
Oh my gosh.
Was that you, Cresta?
It was mum, dad, everybody.
Yeah.
I actually like forced my primary school to do a talent show so I could put,
Cresta.
I performed and I made everybody learn choreography. There was sleepover. In fact, it wasn't even at my own house. Someone else had a house and they had like a cinema room.
Right.
I was like, that's not a dance studio. So I convinced her to let her mum let us all come over. Oh,
no, you didn't, Cresta.
It was a lot. Jessica, if you're listening to this,
Jessica.
thank you for the rehearsal space. Yeah, and I also sang. That's the day I realized I cannot sing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was anyone that would like sit down and watch, we would be performing.
And that's such a beautiful attitude to have as a child.
Thank you, girl.
And to even nurture that as an adult, that must be so hard in this creative industry too.
Very.
Where, you know, you're auditioning, you don't always get the jobs, where people just don't respect what you do, they undermine you, all these different things. How have you managed to nurture that confidence that you've had as a child today?
You got the good question.
I'm just doing my job, girl.
Do you know what it is? I think it's so easy to actually lose that confidence the older you get, which is such an oxymoron from what we're taught as a child. As you get older, you're going to build your confidence, you're going to build... And I'm like, you're expecting, so this gets better, this gets easier, this gets stronger, more fortified. No. The older you get, the more inhibitions, the more... It's like, you know, flying. I actually have a massive fear of flying now. Yeah, when I was a child though, turbulence, I'd be like, wee!
I'm ready, innit?
I'd be loving it. But now I'm there like shaking because the older you get, the more knowledge, the more experience, the more just, you know, the more you're exposed to. So I would say I had to go through the things. That's one thing I realized, is that you can put the boundaries and you can put things in place, the coping mechanisms, whatever it is to protect yourself. But you do have to go through some things to even know what boundaries you need. And also it's not a one size fits all. So I realized that like what this person was doing that was working, it might not work for me. Or I was seeing sister next to me, oh, she's able to, she seems so strong, she got thick skin, she is able to just keep shining through even adversity. And I was there like crying at one little hate comment, like, oh my god, they said this, you know. So I just had to realize that, okay, some things get to me, some things don't. Like internet trolls, I had this conversation the other day. It does not bother me. I love it.
Love that.
I love
for
a troll
because it takes so much to get to that point where you just don't care.
Oh, I don't. Internet troll me.
She's like,
run
I
up
need
my
it.
comment section. Thank you. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Because half the time, well, I don't know. Let me not manifest, please. Actually, send me love. Send me love.
Keep the trolling
right. But for me, it's like it's a stranger. You don't know me. I place no value in what you're saying. It's actually those that are right close to you. That's what I've always struggled with. Like, oh, I thought we were like this, and then you're gonna. So keeping that confidence is actually about nurturing my inner circle more than anything, and then nurturing my inner self. Because how I view myself needs to be the most important.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I have a massive issue with being perceived, perception of those around me, and I had to really just learn, like, if you carry yourself with grace, you try and be as fair as you can, and your intentions, so your behavior is always led by good intentions, or at least honest intentions, you know, then however someone feels, it's okay. You know what I mean? Just lead with love. Even if things can go left, try and go right. Try and go the right way.
I know.
You know?
Because,
so, yeah.
You know, our life here on earth is so limited. And it's like, why do I want to spend majority of my life just thinking about what people think about me, crying over people's comments about me, people that don't even know me.
Thank you.
You just saw a 10-second clip of me and you thought, oh, I must know who she is inside and out. But you ain't got a clue.
At all. You never met me. Do you even know my last name? You don't know it. You don't know it.
All they know is Cresta Rose.
That's it. Which is even stage name, so it's fine. Yeah.
Talking about stages, You've graced many
Oh,
stages, Cresta.
amen.
I'd love to know the first ever stage,
Oh my
apart from
gosh.
maybe the first talent show you did
Yeah,
at
okay.
school.
After the primary school
After
talent
that
show.
one that you forced them to do.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I'm probably blanking on another stage, but I just think because it's so ironic given what we're doing here, it was actually Move It.
Was
Like
it?
20 something years ago.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
ages ago. I remember it was with my dance school back in the day.
Yeah.
Shout out to my dance school.
Come on.
And yeah, I just remember because we were outside London and then it was like, oh, we have this thing we've been called to do. I remember like Jessie J was involved. It was like back then they had like artists, I swear.
That's
If I'm remembering
epic,
it was the
Cresta.
right thing. Yeah. I remember bumping into Jessie J. They were like Towie stuff.
Hilarious. At Move It.
At Move
A
It.
dance convention.
Right? I was like, whoa. And I remember going there and we weren't even on the main stage. We were on I forgot the name of the other stage.
I know what stage you're talking about. Yeah, it's like a showcase stage.
Showcase stage. There we go. And I remember just like walking up in there and being like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like that was like my Wembley, and I love Move It. That still is like a amazing stage. But at the time I literally saw it like the freaking Super Bowl.
It is the dance's Super Bowl, to be honest.
You know what I mean? It's an incredible stage. And I think at that age I didn't even really realize what that stage can actually do other than just make me feel like Beyonce, like a superstar.
Yeah.
So that was my memory. It was a very cool memory. I remember we had stunts at the time because it was like a cheer. It was also infused with like, cheerleading. So we would be I was getting tossed up in the air left, right and center. So I remember it was a very like nerve-wracking day and experience. But it was like one of my first experiences in London and just that is, I think, what planted the seed to be like, I think I want to be in London or one of the big cities one day, do my thing. Yeah.
And was that also the seed that planted for you to pursue dance professionally? Because even me, when I used to go to dance school, we were always told like, oh, dancers don't really get paid that much. They don't get that many jobs. You're going to be struggling. You're going to have to work 2-3 jobs to sustain a dance career.
Yeah. Girl, do you know what? And let me tell you something. I never got told that. Wish I did.
Oh, really?
If someone warned me, oh, girl, I learned. Do you know what? I'm grateful as well for my naivety, but I went into it so naive. It's such a good question, actually. So, fun enough for me, Nigerian mum,
she ain't having
what's
it.
that? What is that? Like,
where's the
Do
money?
you know what I mean? What's going on? She was like, you're going to go and spread nyash. For what? Like,
spreading nyash. No, Cresta.
She said absolutely nuts.
No.
Yeah, she was not down. I think she didn't even understand it. And to be honest, when I was dancing as a child, I found it so funny. She took it so serious. She was like, I used to do it before school. I used to literally get to school at 7 a.m. to train.
Wow.
After school as well, we trained Tuesdays, Wednesdays after school, all day Saturday. And there was even some more in between that. I got taken out of school at one point like it was so serious. And when I asked her mum later on in life, why did you put me in it? Like as if you were Abby Lee Miller doing Up Dance Mums, if you didn't want me to pursue it. And she was like, it's for discipline, yeah? It will help you get the UCAS point. I said, Mum, there ain't no UCAS points for dance.
Like none whatsoever.
Can you imagine? I was like, girl, now you know there ain't no. But she just wanted that discipline. So it was never meant to be something that made any money or became a career. And then my sister went off to Oxford. So that was a tough act to follow.
Right.
And for law as well, I said, God.
Just forget about it. Just wrap up dancing. Yeah.
I said, oh my God. And I remember I was doing like my A-levels and my mum was like, yeah, the dance thing got to go, you got to concentrate. So I actually stopped and I thought that was going to be it. And then I went to university, which a lot of people actually don't know.
I didn't know that. What did you study? And where did you go?
Politics and international relations.
She is a smart babe.
At Queen of Mary's.
Period.
Yes. Yeah, so I was like, I actually really love the show Scandal. Still my favorite show. Kerry Washington's still one of my favorite. Like, I love anyone in a position like that. Obviously, we're not condoning the adult activity she was doing.
Not at all. Not at all.
But in terms of, just seeing, I mean, she was one of the first Black leading women in a role like that in TV. So even just that, like breaking the fourth wall there. But even within the actual narrative of the show, just seeing someone like that, like, whoa, like you're running the whole country, you're running the whole... it was amazing. And I think that is what fueled my entrepreneurial spirit, I would say, actually. But for me, I knew I wanted to do something in the realm of politics because I actually loved, from watching Scandal, to be honest, I loved the idea of like the, what do they call her? A fixer or like a spin doctor. I don't know what they say, like when you can spin a narrative. PR basically is what I was looking into. And at the time, I didn't really think about business PR. It was more like personal PR. I thought like, I feel like I can like take a person and make them like project their brand and their image and stuff. So I thought, cool, like I'll do international relations. I actually wasn't going to do politics until I got to uni and I found out the modules were all the same.
Oh.
And I said, well, I might as well do, if I'm going to get to, let me get both the titles.
It's
you know
so
what
true.
I mean? So I did that. And then I remember I was a bit like, do you know what? I just want to dance for fun. But at the same time, if I can find, I'm in London. So like, if I can find the spaces where it's going down, let me, you know, but I was still just dancing for literal fun. So I was going to classes now. It was like still Pineapple Days, child.
Oh.
Shout out Pineapple Dance
You go way back.
Yeah. Pineapple Days. And then it was like, there's another studio just opening. I don't know if I can say, but everyone is in Southwark. So yeah.
Okay.
It was just opening.
We know that one.
And yeah, I remember just hitting up these classes and suddenly like, this was back in the day when people were coming like scouting classes.
Right.
I think it does happen still now, but not as much because of online.
I go to classes. Well, I just dance for fun.
I love
Genuinely
that.
dance for fun.
Yes, girl.
But when you say that people come to scout, what you mean? There's a teacher and then there's scouts.
Yeah. So it would be like sometimes agents, or sometimes like the agent would be like the teacher. Yeah, it would be the choreographer, or it would be a thing where like the choreographer sees you, they like you, and then they will be connected to an agency, so then they put you in touch with.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh,
so that was just like, I don't know if it's, I think it's still happening, but just not as like prevalent, because this was when on Instagram you could only post like 5 or 15 seconds. Like, that wasn't really popping off yet.
You can't show your ability.
Do you know what I mean? So they wanted to see you in person, and things, I do miss that. But yeah, I didn't even know that was really a thing. They'd often be quite like incognito, just there like looking, and I'd start getting approached like, do you want to do this music video and do that? And I said, music video?
Come on.
I said, oh. But yeah, obviously then I had to go through the lessons. I was working for free. Yeah, me. In my industry, people will be so, they'll gasp and clutch their pearls because I'm one of the fighters of don't work for free. But I didn't know any better. I'd be like, oh my God, music video. Yeah, of course. Like, I'll come and do that. I didn't even think about money.
Wait. So you weren't getting paid? Not even with, I don't know,
girl,
tickets to a show?
No, not even my TFL to get there and home.
As a professional dancer, that you were dancing in a music video, you weren't getting paid.
That's it. Yeah.
How were you paying your bills?
Absurd. I just remember being like, I didn't really question it because I just thought, this is fun. This is just what it is, which I think that's how I show a lot of grace to the new generation, because that is how a lot of people get into it. Even though now I do think there's much more online where you can educate yourself. And I think, you know, I really try and teach my students. It's not just about 5, 6, 7, 8, but it's about 9, 10 as well. And it's about a good contract. And I need to know my call time, my rap time, all these things. I remember I did like a 13-hour shoot, was meant to be 6 hours, and we just kept rolling. There was no food, there was barely anywhere to like sit down, and we wrapped at 1 a.m. like outskirts of West London. Thank God at the time I was living on the Central Line,
right?
So I had all night, but everyone else was staying at the choreographer's house.
Wait. And you guys are professional dancers, and you've been asked to dance in this music video. There's no food.
No food, barely anywhere to sit. Like, it was, the location was gorgeous, like a manor, like a big mansion.
Of course the location would be gorgeous.
And it's so funny because now I look back, I'm thinking, when you look at that and you look at all the departments, 50-man crew, huge location, you know, you've got this huge budget. Even just from the camera that you've got, I can tell you've got, from when my guy is now wearing
the camera on his shoulders,
I know it's a budget. But back then I was just like, okay, like you just don't even start putting the maths together until it's 1 a.m. You're thinking, how the heck am I getting on? So I had to learn that. And then I've had jobs since then when it's like, you know, I've been on something like £70 for a full day, which is also wild. But I was just so happy to be getting paid, and then was having conversations with others. They'd be like, you know, are you getting paid? And I was like, yeah, obviously not much. And they were like, I'm not getting paid. That's when I started to realize, there's that discrepancy. And I then started advocating for people a lot. And that's how I ended up then becoming someone that represents dance. It's a whole long story.
Yes. And we will get there because that story is a lot of people's stories as well. And it should not be happening. Do you know what I mean? And it does take someone like you, Cresta, to, you know, speak out and be like, dancers should be getting paid. 13-hour shoots, no food, yet we're in a manor.
Thank you.
Yet there are high-tech cameras.
Thank you.
But what about the dancers?
There was even an eagle.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
Flying around. An eagle.
Actually can.
Nothing about the song warranted the eagle.
Nothing. So from the professional dancing aspect, you then kind of moved into like movement direction and choreographing. Get my English out. That kind of reminds me of like Tiana Taylor vibes, because she's in front of the camera and behind the camera. Can you tell us the difference between a movement director and a choreographer?
Oh, God, the questions are so good. First of all, Tiana Taylor's one of my biggest inspirations.
I can tell.
Oh, thank you, girl. So I love that little reference there. But yeah, so this is a very good question. A movement director is someone, it's very self-explanatory, but also like the lines are very blurry. It is someone that is not necessarily putting together what we call like a phrase, which is like, okay, I have clear movement, 5, 6, 7, 8, but more just allowing the movement of whatever's already happening to flow in a way that makes sense on camera.
Okay.
So I mean, all movement directors are different, but for me, my main focus is number one, who's in front of the camera, but also the actual camera itself and how they move in tandem. And that is what, for me as a movement director, I will do. So if you invite me to movement direct for you, you might not want to dance at all, but it might just be how we're sitting on this chair and, you know, how that works with the camera angles we've got going on, even for a still camera, because then the only thing that's moving is us.
Yes.
So that's why it's even more important to then work with our angles and stuff. But if the camera is moving, so maybe the man's wearing the camera, usually I'm the person behind the scenes that's lugging him around to make sure that it makes sense. We'll set up like a pose. It can be so simple down to like your fingertips and how that's resting or whatever it is, how you look at a shot somewhere or, you know, things like that. That's like, movement. Yeah. Especially with multi-cameras. Yeah. 100%.
It's so much to think about.
It's Tetris, girl. Yeah, it is.
And your brain, you know, it's a lot that's going on.
It's a lot.
What do you prefer doing?
Oh my God.
Movement directing or choreographing?
I had a conversation the other day with my fiance and I realized, you know what? I find it so hard to separate all of them because now I also do like creative direction, so it's about the whole set and the production as well. I feel like choreography for me is just like you know, you have a cake and you've done the icing and you're just doing the decorations and stuff. That's what the choreography is, but the bigger picture for me is actually where I have the most fun. So I'm gonna say movement directing, but what I will say is with that you typically tend to work with the artist more and not dancers, and I love putting some dancers in a piece and making a whole image and so it's hard actually. I'm gonna have to have my cake and eat it and say both.
Every single flag, every single one. You've done a lot of choreographing for artists. You were an assistant choreographer on Bella's what's that song? It's one of my favorite songs as well.
Oh my God,
maybe we're just caught up in the moment, caught up in the iconic.
One of my faves.
Loved the music video down.
You, girl.
Talk to me how a dancer even just pivots towards choreographing.
Yes.
Who do you talk to and like how do you really put yourself out there?
Such a good question. Yeah, you know what it was? For me it was natural, but I get a lot of people asking me that, and if I had to answer that in terms of like advice, I would say you've got to put your own work out there because just like any other service or like vendor, whatever it is you're doing, you have to be able to show something of yourself for someone to take a chance on you, which is so annoying sometimes because you know sometimes it's just like believe me when I say I'm good.
Facts.
But you have to have your own work. So I think for me teaching really helped because I was already teaching and we had like videographers in class, and so they would see my choreography, my steps, you know, inside the studio. And then we started doing something called like concept visuals, so I was now taking that like a step further, no pun intended,
period.
Right? And I was like, okay, let's take this to like a set and like do a whole and outfits and do a whole thing. So I'm fully like flexing my creative muscle. So then people actually started like seeing me and approaching me. But one thing about, listen, Bella, I remember back in like Clubhouse era.
Stop.
Girl.
That's how you guys met.
Girl. Yeah, I don't know if she actually will remember, you know. Girl, sis, if you're listening to this, I don't know if you remember, it was very romantic, but it was one of them rooms one night that was like, you know, you can listen to like the UK R&B scene. And at the time I remember thinking like, why am I not seeing too much of this? Like I feel like I'm such an R&B girl. I was like, where are the R&B? And I was like, I'm sure they're there. It's just me being blind. So I saw that room, like I jumped in there so quick and I just like heard her talk and I was like, okay. Then I went to like research her and I realized I'd heard one of her songs Home before. So I was like, oh, I know her.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So then I was like, I've got a message. So I messaged her and I was like, girl, fan, been a fan, always gonna be a fan. If you ever want to work, I'd love to work with you, right? And she was lovely. She responded, and yeah, we just sort of connected from there. And then she dropped Evil Eye, and I said, okay,
that song right there.
I said,
Yeah.
absolutely does it. And I was teaching at the time, so
Yeah.
I invited her down, and she came with Jelmira, her stylist. So it was just a lovely time. It was COVID, so we're wearing masks.
Oh.
Yeah. I even have a picture, I'll show you. We're wearing masks, and I was
Those
just there,
days.
like, right. I was there like, oh my God, hi, I love you so much, you know. And yeah, then we stay connected. So she had a choreographer at the time. And yeah, obviously I'll let the choreographer tell her own story. But you know, love her as well. And she just was in a position where she might have needed some help. So they brought me on board, and I was like, I would love to contribute some steps. I'd already assisted a lot of choreographers, and I was like, I'm just not very good at that.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I'm a natural leader in that sense. So I'm not very good at I'm good at taking instruction, but I want to add in, and you know, I was just ready to take that next
Take over,
step.
yeah.
So we had a meeting, and I was like, I'm happy to come on board if we can choreograph this. But listen, my mum raised me to say, like, when you step into someone else's house, you have to respect the house.
Yeah.
So I said, listen, I'm not coming in here to bulldoze. Like, I'm just, even an £8, I'm grateful for that, you know. And it was such an inspiring process.
Right.
So we worked on that together, myself and Janine. We worked on that together, in the moment prototype, and it was really beautiful. And yeah, I would say that whole process for me, was all about reaching out and not being afraid to actually message these artists. They might not always respond, but also like physically go places as well. You know, like lockdown, we were literally locked down.
So true.
But I would have liked to believe that if it was just normal times, I would have maybe bumped into her somewhere, or even on jobs. Dancers, when you're booked on a job, artists, their friends love to, that's what I love about artists, by the way. When you go to a music video or a live show, their fellow peers are there just to literally like support and hype them up from like tech. And I love that. Like at Bella shows, we're always seeing like, you know, someone else coming through, and I'm like, we need more of that in the dance scene, you know. Like when I have shows, friends come through. Not they don't, but yeah.
but
yeah,
that's support, innit? It means so much.
that's it.
I always see on social media, you know, how you shouldn't be upset if your friends don't support your work. I don't agree with that. Please, like, if you are my friend, support me. It costs $0.99.
Thank you.
To
It
just
literally costs
repost,
nothing.
like, share,
Thank you.
subscribe.
That's it.
I'm not
Even
with
if it
that.
costs you something, why not?
Pay for it.
Why not?
Don't
Do you
ask for
know
a
what I
discount
mean?
as well.
Thank you.
Pay for it in full.
Girl,
How about that?
Because facts. Because my closest friends, when they come to my class or my shows or buy tickets, my best friend buys a ticket to every show I do. And I'm not saying like that you have to put money into me for me to consider you a friend, but as you said, there's so many things that are literally free.
Yeah.
And I disagree with that argument of like, oh, but your friends are not your target demographic.
No.
But you're my target friend. Yeah.
How about that? I love
you're
that.
my target friend.
You actually are my target friend.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is that? And you're going to be supporting someone,
a random stranger that you don't know.
Do you know what I mean? I said, oh, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I used to get really upset at that and like quite like bitter about it. I have this alter ego and I call her Bitter Beyond.
Not Bitter Beyond.
And I'm just like, I'll be there with my friends like, listen, I posted my thing and you didn't like it. Go and like it. This is Bitter Beyond.
Would you actually say that?
Yeah,
That's so funny, Cresta.
I'd see them like, I see you didn't like my post, yeah. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, Bitter Beyond is back.
She's out. She's here.
Yeah.
She's here. Speaking of like the classes that you were training and you were choreographing for, you created your own company, Beyond Limits Dance. You are CEO, creative director, literally your baby. Can you talk to me about what gap in the maybe dancing that you was trying to fill with Beyond Limits Dance?
Yes, girl. Do you know, it was very unintentional. I will say that. I mean, people think that I had this like business plan, and I would like to say that I fell into it, you know.
Right.
And one thing about me is when I see a wave, I'm gonna ride it. So, you know, I got approached by this new studio. They were opening in Hackney. I'm not sure if they're still around now. But they were like, we're looking for someone to teach heels classes. And I was like, okay, like maybe I'm interested. I have to think about it.
Yeah.
And I had a friend at the time, shout out Diana, and she was like, no, let's do this. So I thought, you know what? I'm still like, I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on with life. I don't think I'd do it myself. So we went into it like together. And so then the owner of the studio was like, we need like a name, brand name for you guys. I said, oh, nah. I was about to call it Cresta Dance.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, it was about to be a whole thing. And then I have to give her props. I was on the phone to her and I was like, we need a name, girl. Like, we need a name.
Yeah.
And she was like, reading she was on the tube or something, and she was reading like the, you know, the posters above, and she just saw a random sentence, but within that sentence it happens to say Be Your Limits.
Wow.
I shit you not. Can
That
I
was the
swear?
moment. You can swear.
Okay, sorry, mom. I got a potty mouth. It's so bad. But yeah, she was literally there, like, how about? And at first I said, what kind of dumbass? I said, girl, no. But she was like, I think it could bang. I said, all right, for now, we'll go beyond. And you know what? It actually made so much sense, and it just stuck. So that's how that all came about. We started our class, and then that studio, we kind of left that studio and ended up somewhere else that made a bit more sense for us, that had a bit more space. And I didn't expect it to go like that far, but it really just, yeah, like
Wow.
it just took off. And I think the reason being is because of the gap that I didn't know about at the time. But there was this massive, I think, want for a safe space. I say that like so apprehensively because I think that term is a bit overused now, but there was this need for a safe space for women to go and just do something that felt maybe a bit outlandish by like societal norms. It's like, I want to put my heels on and feel like Beyonce,
Yeah.
and I want to look like how J-Lo looked in that music video, and just go into a space where it's completely acceptable to like unleash this version of me that I can't have at home, I can't really have in my friendship group, and sometimes like not even, you know, in the workplace as well, definitely. So yeah, I didn't realize that that was needed amongst so many different demographics of women as well, whether you're a teen, obviously of adult age, please, whether you're a young professional, whether we have like some 40-year-olds, like 40 plus, 50 plus.
Wow.
Yeah, girl. And
I love that though.
yeah, it was like
incredible.
mothers, grandmas, people that, you know, have gone through like a lot of trauma. So I had this choreo that had gone viral back in the day to Pop Smoke Dior.
As you do.
Hilarious, I know, in heels, child. But yeah, basically I remember like thinking, why does everyone love this choreo that I made as a pure joke? And I was teaching it one day, and one of my students just burst into tears. I said, oh my God, like, to Pop Smoke? Like, he was doing that. She liked the way that I danced. I was like, okay, what about that was giving emotional?
You're funny.
Right? But then she explained, she was like, something about this choreo and me being able to be like, oh, you know what I mean? In my heels as well, and like have such power in my movement, really let me reclaim power, because she'd actually experienced a trigger warning, a sexual assault. She'd experienced a really heavy experience, you know, with someone without consent.
Right.
And I was like, whoa. Like something that I made as a joke when I was actually a little bit inebriated. I didn't realize could have such an effect. And then the whole room was like, girl, me too.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, oh, the percentage of women that have unfortunately experienced this sort of thing is way too high. I mean, even 1% is too high.
It's too high, yeah.
But like that's when my eyes actually opened, and a bit of my own ignorance was like, this is really important work. And I'm not saying that shaking ass to Pop Smoke is gonna fix that or is the most groundbreaking, life-saving thing. But if my space can help in any way, absolutely.
And that's what it's doing. I mean, you teach heels at so many different levels, of course, to a range of different women as well. How do you, as a leader and the CEO of your dance company, cater to all those needs? Because that's a lot of people to cater to, Cresta.
It is a lot, you know, and sometimes you've got to take breaks because it can get a lot. You know what it is? Boundaries. It is the boundaries I mentioned earlier. And, you know, when it comes to dancing, I realized for me, I was trained very much like, you come in the room, leave your baggage outside. Like, I don't care what just happened to you, you know. And I taught a class when I'd just been broken up with.
Wow.
Girl, we call him pots and pans.
Okay.
Because we were living together.
Right.
And I'm not even exaggerating when I say he broke up with me and he gave me my pots and my pans. And I said, I've literally got to make my way I rock up to the studio with my pots and my pans and my bedding and everything. And I literally thought, Cresta, you just got to get through. That's how I was trained. Like, you got to get through this.
That's so deep.
Oh God, it was heavy. Yeah. So then I remember going to the reception and being like, can I just put all this stuff here? I've got to go and slay for an hour. And I went upstairs like, 5, 6 and we danced to Beyonce Freaking Dust. I remember. So that was how I was trained.
Yeah.
A lot of women that come into my class, they, as I said, they can't have that release in any other spaces a lot of the time. So they want to have it in class. And so it is finding that balance of, I want you to have a release, but I make it very clear we're in a space that, number one, lasts like an hour.
Right.
Number two, we're sharing it with others. And number three, I'm only one person as well. I can't take on board too much before I break. So we try with love to mold the space with the boundaries, to make that clear for the safety of everyone as well.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, how we manage to cater to, I try to cater to everyone. I don't know if anyone else will disagree.
I mean, you're still in business. You still have classes. You still host some incredible dance shows.
Thank
a night beyond limits. A night that I've experienced myself and was gagged.
Oh my God. What year did you come again?
This was like 2022,
Yeah,
2020.
that was a good one.
The one with
Yeah.
Beyonce.
Yes. I mean, all the good Beyonce,
All,
but I
yeah,
know what you're
I know,
talking
you know
about.
what
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know that Beyonce is
Yes.
such a huge inspiration for you. And
Yeah.
as a leader as well, you know,
Mhm.
being able to care about your the space that you create is super duper important.
Yeah.
How as a leader you've managed to still be respected and still push through even in the moments where you don't feel like showing up to dance, you don't feel like choreographing. How do you still show up
Oh,
as
that's a good
Cresta?
question. Do you know, sometimes I haven't. That's the gag, that's the truth. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
actually haven't, and I think it's because of those experiences I've learned how to. You can mask as much as you can, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it just is, it can be too much what you've got going on, whether that's outside of business or even inside of business.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I've shown up like sunglasses on, chat. You see me with the sunglasses, it's
You know what
it's for
time
the
it is.
day.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, okay, Cresta's had a day. All right.
That's so that they
I'm
know.
proper like Lorianne
They know.
Gibson, and I just end up being like, boom cat, find your
That's
spot,
what I
fight for
wanted
your
to.
life.
I wanted to find out also what
Yeah.
kind of teacher you are. Are you a boom cat teacher or a bookie book or 8 5 6
Yeah.
7 8?
Do you know what's so funny? I feel like I get mixed reviews. Some people are like, she's a tyrant. Oh yeah, I can be. Oh, I've been described as a bit of a. I will. Do you know what? I think I've been known, especially more in recent years. I'm the teacher that will just give it to you straight. I'm a straight shooter like Wendy Williams. I'm gonna give it to you straight. And I just don't believe in if you have something to work on, like lying, to put it straight.
Fair.
So if obviously, if you're just coming to dance because you just want to shake Nash and have a good time and go home so you can pay your bill, that's fine.
Yeah.
I will say yes, slay, queen, Beyonce, and it's not even to like be condescending.
Yeah.
It's just because that's what you're here for. If you come to me, you're like, Krista, I want to dance professionally. How am I going to get there? Okay, let's get to business.
Yeah.
But always with love. And every single time I meet a new student, I'm always like, there's always going to be respect here. So let this not be like a school thing where you need to raise your hand to go to the toilet. What even is that? Like, looking back, why are we doing
No, it's
that?
true. That's a valid question.
So I always say it's about respect. If I ever cross the line, like, tell me. This is not a thing where you need to like hear something from my mouth and you don't like it. And obviously I'm never going to be like, you effing never that. But if I did ever say something and the tone felt off, like, I'm like, we are all adults. So I'm really like, yeah, big on that. If I'm doing something and it feels icky for you, let me know. Obviously, if I have to stand on business and I have to be like, I had to say that. But actually, if there's a way that would feel nicer to receive that energy from me, like, please let me know.
Yeah.
That will help me as well. So that's how I cultivate those relationships, I would say.
Yeah.
I actually forgot your question.
No,
yeah.
it's fine because it leads me into my next question.
Yeah.
As a mentor and with your, the pro part of the Beyond Limits dance, which is kind of an agency where you help professional or aspiring professional dancers find professional work.
Yeah.
You do need to have that honesty and that level of like discipline and mentorship.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about the Beyond Limits company and what you're doing with that?
I can. Oh my God, I love this. So I would say we started venturing into that space in like 2019 by accident again. Like, people just hit us up, we need dancers, and I'm just like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And I would often try to I would be in it as well, which I sometimes still do, but I've learned, like, girl, just do the one role if you're choreographing. So obviously we needed to build like a repertoire of dancers, and I myself, being connected with agents, a lot of agents in London, I've had my experiences that I love, I've had my experiences that I maybe don't love. So just learning from my own, I think, it helps being on the other side, is what I'm trying to say, because being a dancer myself and having gone through that, had representation, still do. Shout out to all my agents.
Come on.
I feel like I then learned how to be the best agent.
Right.
So from that, I learned about, I need contracts. I need all of this. I need to be able to communicate with both sides now. And one thing that I would say I had to learn about, but I wasn't so privy to, was actually the agreements and the communication that takes place with the client now.
Okay.
Not just with the dancer. Well, the dancer is also the client.
Of
so
course.
You've got these like two avenues.
Yeah.
And from the dancer's perspective, all you're seeing is just dancer agent, but you've also got agent client. And being that middleman and managing those comms can be tough. Again, it's rules, it's policies, it's strict contracts, it's knowing your worth, it's walking away when you need to, and just being as transparent as you can. I think with particularly the dancers, and just being like, look, the reason why you've been on pencil for 10,000 years is because we're still negotiating the rates, chat. That's just the truth. That, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're not trying to mess you around. That is just what it is. Or sometimes it can be something like, people are kept on pencil and then dropped last minute and don't know what pencil, by the way, is. You've been told to pencil it in your diary
and it's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed,
right.
And sometimes like your agent might even really lead you to think it's about to be confirmed, which I try my best not to do, but sometimes it's looking like this is happening. But yeah, anyway, so, and then you might get dropped and you just don't understand like what happened. We try and give feedback because I don't want any dancer walking away and being like, oh, I'm just not good enough, when really it was just because actually they didn't have the rates, or maybe because your hair was short and they wanted long hair.
And it's just that,
you know,
could be just that.
Yeah, so I think it's transparency, it's communication. I remember I had auditioned for like Kendrick Lamar, how many years ago? Many years ago, right? And I got down to the final round. They're taking my passport. They were like heavy pen, not even pencil, heavy pencil.
Like it's almost there.
That's it. It's pretty biro.
Then you'll get the Sharpie.
Yeah. I mean, I was like to my sister, I'm doing Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Drops at the very final. Like all my friends were like, yeah, I've been like dropped. So I think you're getting it because you're the last one on pencil. And I was like, yeah. Drops, and I never found out why, and I was just like,
that's heartbreaking,
because
it's just that, like, why?
It.
Just tell me why, and I can work on it. Moving forward, I know what to do.
That's it. Especially when in the audition, the choreographer's looking at you like, yeah. And I knew the choreographer. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting
right.
And when it doesn't happen, you're just left in the lurch. So yeah, communication. But on a business front, I would say it's all about like nurturing long-term clients if you can. It's like Bella. Oh my God, Bella, that's my girl. Shout out to Bells. I've been with her now since 2022. We've opened Victoria Monet together.
Incredible.
We've done
I was there.
Yeah. Oh, you were there.
I was there.
Yes. One of my favorites to date, you know. I loved that experience. Amazing. You know, all these things we do. So the long-term, shout out my other client, Laveau. Long-term clients are the best, you know. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
And I feel like that's definitely a recipe for having a like longevity in the dance industry as well.
100%.
I feel like you're a jack of all trades. You're kind of a master of all of them, somewhat as well. Do you feel like there's anything that you can improve on, or maybe you give much more energy to, I don't know, choreographing and then less to
100%. I actually already know the answer to that. I love the choreographing. I love the creative of it all. I also do love like leading a room and stuff. I hate customer service. Hate that.
And that is an integral part of a business.
You know what I mean? Despise that. Terrible at that. Refund requests. We can't do it. Yeah. So I'm so grateful that I'm building a team, and you know, people are great at that for me now. Shout out to my team, my assistant, they're all great. But you know, sometimes there is something that only I can answer. Like someone's got a really like nuanced request, and I'm just like, how are we going to deal with this now? You know? And then obviously dealing with like disgruntled customers as well. So yeah, I would say less of that for me.
And that's honest. You know, we accept that we're not perfect. There's always things that we can work on.
Facts.
You show up authentically as yourself. You know, you make that a point in your dance classes, outside, in your business, in an industry where maybe it might be looked upon, or people might think, oh, she's overly confident. She thinks she's too much. I can't quite handle that.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that, especially as a Black woman in this industry?
Girl, the questions are so good. You know what? It's so funny. Since school, I would say, have had to like, because as a Black girl, do this and like shrink and minimize myself, because you're called sassy, you're called like, you got attitude, scary, aggressive, you know, all the buzzwords that we're called. And I just remember always being like, no. No. And you know, it's Scandal again, but in Scandal, her dad says we have to be twice as good to get half of what they have, and my mum always raised us to be the same. So she was like, you're going to be the top of your class, you're going to like, I was gifted and talented and all these things.
I'm not surprised.
Oh girl, thank you. But you know what it was, I promise I wasn't like naturally inclined academically at all, but I was like, you just have to be the best so that you can back up this energy you got with like the receipts. So I really just tried like my hardest at everything. So yeah, I think if someone says I'm overly confident, I would actually say to them, join me.
Oh,
join me.
I like
Why
that.
Not? You know what I mean? Because rather than trying to defend the confidence and be like, oh no, or try to explain where the confidence came from, just join me.
We can all be confident together.
Does it?
Yeah.
There's room for so much, you know, confidence. And one of my mentors actually back in the day, we were training, we were all sweating. It's like freaking 3 hours. We're dying, want to go home. And he was going around the room giving everyone one word for like what they need to work on. And he points at me and he goes, confidence. I've never heard that before. I've never heard someone tell me I need more confidence.
Right.
It's always been like, too much. Who does she think she is? And like in school, they'd be like, she thinks she's Beyonce. And that actually got to me. I used to then start shrinking, but then I'd be like, why can't I be?
True.
Why not?
There's no rules to this. You
Does
can literally
it?
be whoever you want to be and
Exactly.
do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, and join me, friend.
Join the confidence crew.
Yeah.
So I asked you to bring something sentimental.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into that real quickly. Cresta, what have you brought to
Okay,
the
I'm
rap
annoying
room?
because I can never just do the task and do one. But
It's
I've got a
fine.
few, if that's okay.
We'll go through it pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, all right, real quick. So
Stunning.
this is my first one. Yeah, and I got this 3-4 years ago. One of my students, after one of my programs, as a present to say thank you, she had painted this for me. I was so touched, and it stays in my room in my vanity area. So shout out to Shan.
Shout out. That is honestly gorgeous.
Thank you
and
so
that's
much.
like love.
Yeah, literally.
It takes hours to paint something like that.
Genuinely, I was like, girl, I can't give you nothing back because I can't draw. So just have a free class on me or something. But yeah, this really meant so much to me.
Love.
Next up is, let's go. My now very good friend, but also once upon a time student turned head of my media team. She was filming my show, I think the one you came to.
Yes.
And we always have like a confetti drop. So she just sends me this in the post. And I was like, girl, what the hell is this?
Honestly.
She had collected the confetti and made a whole thing out of it. And this also sits in my vanity area. So this is the actual confetti that dropped in my second sold out show with Beyond Limits. So
that's so intentional. That's what I love about these. Like, they actually care. They're like, what would Cresta like? What would touch her soul?
And I just got her like a travel mug that was in the shape of a camera because she's a videographer. And I was like, girl,
it's something.
It's something. But shout out to Grace. Grace Visuals, hit her up because she's amazing. Next up, I have stuff now. So the first one is this bow. I wore this when I did Harry Potter with HBO. So we had like whole ball gowns made and like the ballroom sections they have, and they put this bow in my hair. So I stole it. So as a memento.
You actually got to steal props when you know on set. Sorry.
I saw the shoes too. Can't lie. And then my last one is my last pass for my Brits. Yeah. So this is when I did Dua Lipa in 2021. I didn't know people kept the passes, so this is the only one I've got.
Cresta.
Everyone else has like a whole
collection of passes,
bruh.
Now you know.
I got one, so that was my last Brits, and yeah, that's it. I think I had so much more, but I thought let me just keep it at those four.
I appreciate you because this really does encapsulate the kind of person that you are, and
thank you,
you know, the work that you've done, which has all been incredible. Is there anything we can look forward to? How can we, you know, attend your classes? Where can we find you, Cresta?
Yes, girl. We are Beyond Limits Dance everywhere. Well, just TikTok and Instagram at the minute. Cresta_Rose, TikTok and Instagram. You can just literally keep an eye on our socials for class. I've got a class on August 7th. We're not weekly at the minute because your girl's a bit busy, but if you just look at our page or message us, we'll let you know when the next one is. We're going to be dancing to some K1 back at the club.
Oh, that's a good song.
Right. It's a comfort musicality.
That's going to be sexy.
If you want to feel sexy, I'm fine. Yeah, I've got you. Also, we do have our show that you know about. We're going to be announcing very soon. We're going to be going on tour again with our show around the UK. So if you want to get involved in that, look out for applications. If you want to come watch that, look out for tickets. And if you're a music artist, brand, whatever, and you need dancers for your music video, live shows, commercials, TV, film, galas, whatever it is, hit us up because we got you covered.
Cresta is your girl. Well, I thank you so much for joining me on the Rap Room Pod. You are just phenomenal, and I always keep supporting and just cheerleading you.
Love you, girl.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to find out a lot more about the creatives in this industry and how incredible they are. So
I'm gonna have to hijack your outro. I'm so sorry, guys. Subscribe. Yeah,
I'm actually crying.
Subscribe because this girl is so talented, so multi-talented, and this whole hour has been about me. But like, I wouldn't even now start a podcast to talk about you.
I'm crying.
Guys, subscribe and follow the journey. She's amazing. Yeah,
you have too many jobs already, Cresta. You don't have to worry about that. But thank you, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.